So, can anybody remember anywhere? Mary, did you have a place you used to like to frequent?
West Indian Club.
West Indian Club? Where was that located? Can you remember?
I could remember to find it, but not to...
You can't remember the actual address of the street. And what sort of music did you used to listen to?
All sorts.
All sorts of music, yeah.
Well, Mary was telling me that she used to run a club in Trinidad.
We had it for 18 years.
18 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Hot Chocolate played there.
Oh,
And Errol Brown.
Errol Brown, you sexy thing. That's very charismatic. Where did you used to go dancing then, Ali? Where would I have bumped into you?
Old Higgs. Old Higgs it was called.
Old Higgs?
Yeah.
Right. And what was that? Were it like a big pub or were it like a
Well, it was a dance
a dance hall? Wow, Old Higgs. And did you meet anybody there?
Yeah.
Did you meet anybody special? And I don't want to meet your husband. No, you might have-
Anyone special?
No, there were no. You never bumped into any stars.
No.
No.
Take me home to the place I belong.
Dorothy, where did you go?
Oh, it wouldn't be too distant locally, like it
Yeah.
somewhere. Yeah.
Did you have any favourite holiday places?
I can't say I did, no. Well, it's a long time for me to remember.
I remember going to a public hall dancing.
Public hall dancing?
Yeah.
Oh, then we're back on to Mark's subject.
Dorothy worked in Lancashire, didn't you, Dorothy?
Well, I was brought up in Lancashire. Yeah, yeah.
Where did you work in Lancashire?
I was in Rochdale area, yeah, that's where I was born.
Yeah.
Milnrow, weren't it?
Milnrow.
In Milnrow.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the library in Milnrow was a public library.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was librarian there. But it was only
A
local village
library. I know,
library. Not just a couple of villages, 2 or 3 villages round it. Which Milltown did you live in?
I lived in Accrington.
Accrington. I'm not particularly, but I can fit in with it.
Yeah, it's not far from Rochdale.
No, it isn't.
I was about 12-year-old, or less than that. My father was a firefighter. There was no fire station here and a fire station there. There was one for town, and that was in, I can't think of the name, it's road now.
Barn Street, would
The
it be?
fire station. And one day, when I was going, and I was on my own, I had to cross over a road, and I crossed over this road with all cars coming and you know. A fire station was stood on the other side of the road, you see. I got there eventually over its other side of the road. Just as I'm going, the blooming thing started going up. And a few firemen there then. And they were saying, what are you doing? I said, I've come to see my dad. Well, your dad's here and he's going out there with us and that sort of stuff. There was one fireman, one of them, he'd seen me and he said, what are you doing in here? My dad's here. I said, but my dad's gone out now with these others. Oh, I said, I wouldn't say that lad there, he said. And this was in the station.
Yeah.
He said, tell him I've told you. And I did.
So you
and they
hang
sat
around
me
the
down
station.
and I had a cup of tea and biscuits and all sorts.
And just waiting for your dad to come back.
And he hadn't got back before I went home. But in them days, there were no fancy stuff at all.
No?
Just a fire brigade and that was it.
Yeah.
I thought love was more or less a but the more I gave, the less I got.
Bill is a great P&E fan, aren't you, Bill?
Yeah, he's got.
And we've got a letter from Bill's daughter telling us a story about what happened when Bill was younger.
I'll give you a backstory. Bill were invited to a meal at Preston North End. We quite a large group of people.
Yeah.
And when he was there, it became apparent very quickly that he were an incredible celebrity at Preston North End. He were born behind the football ground. He started going from about 4-year-old. So his daughter wrote a letter when Bill were more cognizant. She wrote this lovely letter that were read out, didn't she, Bill? And it said, "My name is Bill Walker. I'm 86 years of age, and I've supported Preston North End as long as I can remember. As a nipper, I lived round the back of the North End ground. From being about 5-year-old, I used to run down and sit on the gate and watch the lads training. I regularly ran errands for them to the corner shop, and they would treat me to some cakes and pies. One Boxing Day, I was still only about 8, and the queue round the ground for the match was enormous, stretching right round. The team lads must have caught sight of me at the back, and a message was sent out, and I was picked up at the back of the queue, raised above everyone's heads, and passed along and above the queue via people's hands right to the front, and they popped me over the turnstile. I've got so many happy memories of those days. Although my memory is fading, this is where my family come to look for me if they can't find me. Back to the North End ground. Basically, for a few years, when he moved away, if they couldn't find Bill, they went back and he would always be sat behind the ground at one end where he used to be.
They'd take him in for a cup of tea.
Yeah. And
Anyway.
they would take, all the players knew him, they would take him in for a cup of tea, and there were all the staff there who remembered him from way back when. And to be honest, you were like Preston North End royalty. And I think it's lovely because we all have these.
Like that, you know you should.